Jude Black, Shalom L'Chaim, purified drinking water. They got us up there. Yeah, so it is what it is. That was our last video, and this one right here, we're gonna talk about the ancestors. I'm gonna call them the ancestors. I'm gonna call them three ancestors. But then again, if I really think about it, it would have had to be people to make them to get them to where they are. It's just whatever. But just break it down to the three. Okay, three ancestors. Cue that music all live.
Well, American privilege, well, it keeps blurring my vision. Inherited sickness.
After the great flood with Noah and his family, his three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, left the ark to repopulate the world. God commanded them to populate the entire earth with their descendants, filling it with new people. This story is recorded in Genesis chapter 10, verses 1 to 32. Japheth, Noah's son, is the ancestor of many nations. His children are the progenitors of the Indo-European and Asian peoples. His wife, Adataneses, is the mother of Asians. Japheth's sons, who are of Japheth's lineage, are Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Gomer's sons are Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. Javan's sons are Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. The descendants of Japheth colonized both the European and Asian continents, giving rise to several nations known as Japhetic peoples. These peoples include the Greeks, Sumerians, Scythians, Medes, Iberians, Celts, Phrygians, Etruscans, Italics, Vikings, and Germanic peoples throughout Scandinavia, forming the Japhetic part of Europe. Being the parents of such Japhetic peoples and their wife, Ashkenaz is considered the ancestor of the Northern European or Northern European peoples, including the blonde and red-haired peoples. He is recognized as the father of Scandinavian tribes and neighboring regions. Javan is considered the father of the Greek peoples, while Riphath is considered the ancestor of the Iberian peoples, that is, the Spanish and Portuguese. The ancient Celtic tribes are all direct descendants of Riphath, one of Japheth's grandchildren. Moreover, Asians are also descendants of Japheth, especially from Japheth's wife, according to some scholars of human origins. It is said that the name of Japheth's wife changed after the events of the Tower of Babel to something similar to Asia, and she became the matriarch of Asians. Togarmah, Japheth's grandson, is considered the father of the Asian peoples. Togarmah means broken or pulled. According to the prophet Ezekiel, Togarmah is the father of many peoples from the far north. The biblical reference is in Ezekiel, chapter 38, Gomer and all his troops, the house of Togarmah in the far north, and all its troops, many nations with you. An interesting observation is that Asians are the most numerous in terms of population. They represent the largest part of the world's population and are considered the descendants of Togarmah. The house of Togarmah encompasses many peoples from the far north, that is, from Asia. There are numerous peoples that have their origin in Togarmah, but I will mention some of them here: the Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Proto-Mongolians, Turkmens, among many other Asian peoples who descend from Togarmah. This was the lineage of Japheth, which expanded and became numerous, as prophesied by Noah in his lifetime. If you are a white person of European descent, you are a descendant of Japheth. And if you are a person of Japanese, Chinese, or any other Asian descent, you are also a descendant of Togarmah and therefore a descendant of Japheth. Now, let's focus on the lineage of Ham, whose name means burnt or the color of something burnt or dark. He is the ancestor of peoples with black skin. The sons of Ham are Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Cush had sons named Rama, Sheba, Sabta, Sabtika, and Havilah. Rama was the father of Sheba and Dedan. Cush was also the father of Nimrod, a mighty man on earth who defied God. He was responsible for the construction of the Tower of Babel. It is important to highlight that the name Cush literally means black or of black color. Cush, the original son of Ham, was the ancestor of many peoples. Mizraim, another son of Ham, fathered Ludim, Anamim, Lehabim, Naphtuhim, Pathrusim, Casluim, and Caphtorim. Canaan, the youngest son of Ham, is the one who received Noah's curse. It is relevant to emphasize that the curse was directed at Canaan and not at Ham, his father. Canaan fathered Sidon and Het. The descendants of Ham primarily inhabited Africa. Besides the African continent, they also settled in Australia and India. Canaan, on the other hand, inhabited the Middle East, along with a small part of Mesopotamia. The Hamitic peoples include the Sumerians, the Ethiopians in Ethiopia, the Nubians, the Libyans, the Egyptians, the South African and North African peoples. The native Indians of India, the first inhabitants there, also descend from Ham and are considered Hamitic peoples. The Aboriginal people of Australia, whom many request a video about, are also Hamitic peoples, and we will make a specific video for them if desired. They are descendants of Ham. The Dravidian peoples in India are clearly Hamitic, as their skin tone is black, reflecting the descent from Ham. The name Phut or Put means bow and refers to the tribal warriors and hunters of Africa. The name Cush, as mentioned earlier, means black, referring to the darker skin tone of many African peoples. Mizraim gave rise to the Egyptians, who were also black but with a brown skin tone. The descendants of Canaan were the Canaanite peoples, such as the Sidonians, Phoenicians, Hittites, Amorites, Jebusites, Hamathites, Girgashites, Hivites, Sinites, and Zemorites. They inhabited Lebanon, Jordan, and the Middle East region together with Canaan. These peoples were enemies of the ancient Israelites and were defeated and killed by them in great battles because they were considered practitioners of sorcery and witchcraft, which displeased God. Now, let's address one of the most interesting peoples, the indigenous peoples. What is the origin of this people according to the Bible and genetics? The Bible reveals to us that Togarmah was the father of many peoples, as described in Ezekiel 38 verse 6. Togarmah is considered the ancestor of the people with slanted eyes, due to the meaning of his name, which refers to eyes that are slanted or broken. It has been proven that indigenous peoples descend from Asian populations. In other words, the origin of this people lies in the lineage of Togarmah, a descendant of Japheth. However, there is also a strong mixture with the Hamitic peoples, or at least one Hamitic tribe, due to the brown skin tone observed in many ancient indigenous peoples, such as the Maya, Aztecs, and Incas. It is important to note that skin tones vary considerably among different indigenous peoples. Some Native Americans have lighter skin that closely resembles Asian populations like the Japanese. Therefore, the origin of the indigenous peoples inhabiting the Americas is rooted in the descent of Japheth, specifically from Togarmah, but also has a strong genetic influence from the Hamitic ancestry due to the brown skin tone. The slanted eyes are also a characteristic reminiscent of Asian populations, and this has been scientifically proven through genetics. Hence, indigenous peoples have their origin in Asia but also possess an influence from Hamitic ancestry due to their skin tone. In other words, indigenous peoples are descendants of both the lineage of Ham and the lineage of Japheth. Those with a more pronounced brown skin tone have a stronger ancestry from the line of Ham. An example of this is Native Americans, commonly known as Redskins. They are descendants of both Japheth and Ham. Now, let's explore the descendants of Shem to understand genealogies and the origin of humanity. This is a topic that is not often addressed but should receive more attention from various channels. Though somewhat controversial, it is a subject that unites all peoples because Shem and Ham were brothers, sons of the same father and mother, Noah and his wife. Shem is Noah's firstborn son, and the biblical text states that at the age of 100, he fathered sons named Arpachshad, Aram, Ashur, Lud, and Aram. Shem lived many years, reaching 600 years of age, and it is estimated that his descendants reached up to the 10th generation, including the patriarch Abraham. The sons of Aram were Uzi, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad is the ancestor of Eber, who gave rise to many Semitic peoples, especially those who inhabited Mesopotamia and the Middle East. Among the Semitic descendants were the Elamites, Assyrians, Akkadians, Chaldeans, Sabaeans, Syrians, Arameans, Hebrews, descendants of Abraham, Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Israelites, Midianites, among others.